This morning, I met with the leadership of the Texas Department of Public Safety to get a full briefing on their efforts to locate and return the members who are actively trying to thwart the legislature from performing its duties. And we will try again to make quorum on Friday. If quorum is then made, we will proceed with the very important business of this state. While I will call the House to order tomorrow and Thursday in a pro forma session, I will provide written permission to be entered in today's journal for each member who is registered here today as present to leave the chamber and return Friday at 1 p.m. Mr. Guerin moves that the House stand adjourned until 9 a.m. Wednesday. Is there objection? Chair hears none. The House stands adjourned.
So there you have it. The Texas House of Representatives convened briefly at the top of the hour, but they didn't have a quorum. That's the minimum number of members needed to hold the session. So they are now adjourned until Friday. That's because more than 50 Democrats fled this state. In the meantime, Democrats are now declaring an all-out war as the battle over redistricting is heating up. For more on this, we're going to bring in Kevin Kiley. He's the California congressman who's introducing a bill to ban mid-decade districting across the country. Now, his bill is aimed at California Governor Gavin Newsom, but the legislation would apply to all states that adopt new maps this year, including Texas. Congressman, great to see you. Thanks for coming on today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So just so I understand your position correctly here, you're not a fan of mid-decade redistricting. You don't like what Texas is doing right now, and you certainly don't like what California is threatening to do in response. So do you see your bill as a way to maybe avoid this all-out tit-for-tat escalation war where we see both parties getting into this redistricting war?
That's exactly right. This is a way for us to just take a deep breath, say enough is enough. This is not a route that we want to go down. Now, of course, being a representative from California, I'm most concerned about my home state, your home state as well, I believe, Bill, and trying to protect our democracy there. And what Gavin Newsom has envisioned is just sort of uniquely corrupt in that he is trying to abolish our independent redistricting commission that was put in place by voters to transfer their authority to himself in the supermajority legislature to toss out the independent nonpartisan map they came up with and to oppose a hyperpartisan map that is aiming to reduce California's Republican representation in Congress from 9 seats out of 52 to 3 seats out of 52. 3 seats out of 52, even though we get over 40% of the vote in statewide elections. So we absolutely need to stop that from happening. And it's not a good thing for the country, I believe, now that you have many more states are talking about throwing out their district lines in the middle of the decade. It's not a healthy thing for voters, for representatives. It's not good for Democrats or Republicans, I don't think. And it's certainly not good for the country.
And to your point, your legislation would impact the state of Texas. And the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, was on our air this morning. He's not a fan of your legislation. He says it's not needed because Texas's population has exploded largely from people escaping California. Take a listen. We'll get your thoughts on the other side.
We don't have fair representation right now because our population has changed and it's increased. And so in states like ours, where things have changed so dramatically, it does make sense to redistrict. If you're a state that hasn't changed much and your population centers or your proportional representation hasn't changed, yeah, no reason to do this.
Congressman, what's your response to AG Paxton?
Well, he's certainly right about people leaving California, many going to Texas, many going to basically every other state in the country because of the failed policies of Gavin Newsom. But the fact is that if we simply keep redistricting in state after state after state, what are we going to do it every 2 years? Then it's incredibly disruptive. And if you talk to actually the Republicans from California, of course, we don't like what Newsom is doing. But if you talk to the Republican members of Congress from Texas, they don't like what's going on there either because they have gotten to know their constituents, the communities that they represent, and then to suddenly have their district upended in an unscheduled redistricting, it's very disruptive in terms of their ability to represent their district. And then when you talk about other states now are talking about doing it, I think that the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, really needs to step up and show some leadership here. He's the leader of our conference, and this is not something that is popular among members of our Congress. And he's also the leader of the House as an institution, and it's not a healthy thing for the House as an institution. So a way that he could step up and show some leadership here is by supporting my bill and bringing this chaos to an end.
So I'm sure you've seen this, but want to get your reaction to it. Congressman Eric Swalwell, he was reacting to the lines that Texas are talking about drawing, and he posted a tweet which tells Texas Republicans, hope it's worth it. Say goodbye to Kevin Kiley, you, Congressman, and 5 other California Republicans. Congressman, it sounds like Democrats are threatening to draw you out of your own district if this goes forward. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm actually not super concerned about my own seat. I won by 46,000 votes last election. I actually got the most votes of any candidate in California history, and there's only so much they can do. By the way, Mr. Swalwell came to my district and campaigned against me, and yet his candidate lost by double digits, and now he thinks that he can't win a fair election. Well, let's just move some lines around on the map. And I think that's the problem here, is that you have people like him and Gavin Newsom talking about, defeating people, not through having a free and fair election, but simply by exercising their raw political power to get rid of the independent commission that voters have established. I will say, I think the immediate priority is bringing this sort of tit-for-tat redistricting war to an end. But a longer-term goal, at least by the time of the next census, is that we can reach some sort of deal, because there's 2 policies that voters of all stripes overwhelmingly support: getting rid of gerrymandering and establishing voter ID. And the first tends to be more of a priority for Democrats. The second tends to be more of a priority towards Republicans. I think that we can reach some sort of deal to make our elections a lot fairer by ending gerrymandering, requiring voter ID, and we'd be a lot better off going forward.
All right, got to leave it there. Congressman Kevin Kiley of the state of California, great to see you. Thanks for coming on today.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.